What if science, art, and spirituality weren't separate subjects, but were all part of one single integrated system of knowledge? Well, that's the world we're diving into today, the ancient knowledge system of Bharat, or India. It's a framework that saw the universe not as a bunch of separate pieces, but as a deeply connected whole. And to really understand this system, we have to start right here, with this one powerful idea from the Rig Veda. Truth is one, but the wise describe it in many ways. Now, this isn't just some poetic line. It's the philosophical key that unlocks everything else. It's a worldview built on the idea that there isn't just one single right path to the truth, but many.
You know, when we say knowledge system, we're not just talking about dusty books on a shelf. In ancient Bharat, this was a living, breathing framework. It was the way an entire society made sense of the world around them. This was knowledge that was part of daily life, passed down from one generation to the next, and tested by real community experience. Put simply, it was knowledge in action.
So, here's our game plan for this journey. We'll start with the core philosophy. That's the blueprint. Then we'll see how that blueprint actually came to life in the real world through some incredible advances in science and well-being. After that, we'll explore how they structured thought itself. And finally, we'll ask what I think is the most important question. What can this ancient system teach us today? All right, first up, the blueprint. Before you can build anything, whether it's a society or a scientific theory, you need a solid set of core principles. So let's take a look at the very foundation this entire way of thinking was built on. The whole system was built on 4 key pillars. First, it was holistic, meaning it refused to separate the material world from the spiritual one. It was also empirical, so it was grounded in real-world observation and practice. It was deeply ethical, guided by the concept of dharma, which you can think of as a principle of right conduct, duty, and cosmic order. And finally, it was sustainable, designed from the ground up to exist in harmony with nature. These weren't separate boxes to check. They were all threads woven into a single fabric. So with that holistic blueprint in mind, let's see how they actually put it into practice. This brings us to the science of the ancients, a time when philosophy wasn't just debated. It was used to solve very real, practical problems. This quote from an ancient agricultural text, the Krishi Parashara, just captures the approach so beautifully. You see, agriculture wasn't just about throwing seeds in the ground. It was a science that was deeply connected to observing and respecting the rhythms of nature. And this was incredibly sophisticated stuff. We're talking about a deep scientific understanding of Ritu, the seasonal cycles, along with advanced knowledge of soil fertility, meticulous observation of rainfall patterns, and the engineering of really complex irrigation systems. This wasn't just farming. It was a precise science designed to ensure both food security and ecological balance. Now let's switch gears and look at another area, metallurgy. This quote from the Rasadaratna Sumuchaya shows a very similar mindset. It wasn't about just melting metal. It was a systematic, careful process governed by very precise methods. And you can see this incredible progression of skill. First, they mastered the basics like copper and bronze. Then, they moved on to creating the legendary wood steel. It was so high quality, it was famous across the entire ancient world. They even pioneered unique and difficult processes like zinc distillation, something that was notoriously hard to achieve back then. And the ultimate proof of this mastery? The Iron Pillar of Delhi. This thing is a 1,600-year-old marvel of rust-resistant technology. It has stood out in the open, through monsoons and scorching heat, for centuries, and it still hasn't rusted. It's a stunning testament to a level of metallurgical science that continues to amaze experts. You know, this holistic approach extended deeply into human health as well. So in this section, we're going to see how this worldview created a powerful and integrated system of medicine and wellness. At the heart of this approach is Ayurveda. And here's the crucial thing. It defines health not just as the absence of disease, but as a delicate, dynamic balance between your body, your mind, and your environment. So it wasn't just medicine. It was a complete system for living well. This quote from the foundational text, the Charaka Samhita, makes the objective crystal clear. The goal was twofold. First, to protect the health of those who are already well. That's a huge focus on prevention. And second, to cure the sick. It's a proactive approach to well-being, not just a reactive one. And get this, it wasn't just about herbs and diet. The surgical tradition, known as Shalya Tantra, was astonishingly advanced. The physician Sushruta, who's often called the father of surgery, described complex procedures like rhinoplasty, which is nose reconstruction, cataract surgery, and intricate bone setting, all while using a huge array of specialized surgical instruments that he actually helped design. And this quote from Sushruta himself really gets to the core of their philosophy. The idea was clear. Practical, hands-on surgical skill wasn't just some add-on. It was an essential part of being a complete physician. Theory and practice had to go hand in hand. And the perfect complement to Ayurveda's focus on the body was yoga's focus on the mind. As this famous verse from the Yoga Sutras tells us, the goal of yoga is to bring harmony and control to the constant chatter and fluctuations of our own consciousness. It's really the other half of that holistic health equation. Now, to be able to understand and heal the body and mind this well, you need something else. Really powerful systems for organizing thought. That brings us to their more abstract achievements, the systems of logic, language, and numbers they developed to structure experience itself. The contributions here in mathematics literally changed the world. Just think about it for a second. The invention of shunya, the revolutionary concept of zero as a number in its own right, the creation of the decimal system that underpins all of modern science and technology, and huge leaps forward in geometry and algebra. These weren't just tools for counting, they were seen as tools for understanding the cosmos. And this quote from the great astronomer and mathematician Aryabhata perfectly captures the elegant power of the decimal system. Each place value increases tenfold. It's such a simple, beautiful concept, but it's the very logic that makes everything from basic math to modern computing possible. Which brings us to our final and maybe the most important section. We've seen all these incredible achievements, but the real question is, so what? Why does any of this matter today? What can this ancient system possibly teach our modern world? This comparison really gets to the heart of it. Where the ancient Indian view was holistic and saw all knowledge as interconnected, our modern approach tends to put everything in separate little boxes. Where their framework was guided by ethics and sustainability, modern science is often framed as being value neutral. This isn't just some academic difference. It highlights a fundamentally different way of engaging with the world, and that has profound implications for how we solve our biggest problems. And the most crucial point to take away from all this is simple. These ideas are not museum artifacts. They are part of a continuous, living intellectual tradition. It's an unbroken lineage of thought that continues to offer valuable perspectives on science, health, and what it means to live a balanced life. So, we'll leave you with a question to think about. In a world facing incredibly complex, interconnected problems, from climate change to global health, how might adopting this ancient, holistic view of knowledge change the way we approach learning and problem-solving today?